In our last lesson, we learned about how to string nodes together for execution. In this one, we're going to learn how to create a stack or a hierarchy of nodes. So with this cube maker selected, I'm going to tap N and it'll build a node underneath that current node, a child node. To unparent it, I can press Shift P, and to parent it again, I can press P. There is a full hotkey editor if you want to change the hotkey conventions. So a couple things that we want to introduce now, which is our display state up here. Again, this is accessed and it can be changed in the hotkey editor by pressing 1, 2, or 3. So when I press 1 here, it'll show all of my attributes that I have on a particular node. And this is done per node. And what I want you to see here is that as I select this node, you can see that these attributes live on Cube Maker. But when I select Node, you can see those same attributes are grayed out, but they are inherited, or they fall down through this stack of nodes and can be accessed down in here. So to illustrate that, I will make a sphere maker. Okay, and I'm just going to copy the code out of here. I'm going to paste it down in here, and I'm only going to change that it's instead of a poly cube, it's a poly sphere. And I'm going to add one more attribute on the sphere maker node. I'm going to call this offset. And we'll give this an offset of like 4. And I'll just make that the X value here. We'll use this token offset right here. Cool. So we can just dial that offset in. And so you can see that it still resolves my count and my spacing. And when I change them up here to say make 7 spheres, you'll see that those values fall through down into my code block for my sphere maker. So I will go ahead and select this and execute from selected. And you'll see that I've got an error here on my sphere maker. Well, there's a couple mistakes with this. One is I've called it cube, which doesn't make any sense, and I forgot the brace at the end. So I'll just update both of those. Sphere and add the brace at the end. And select this and execute from selected. And we'll zip back over to Maya and see what we've made here. So you can see that it's made a group of cubes and a group of spheres as well. So if I wanted to adjust the spacing, I do this on this top attribute. And let's say we'll adjust the cube spacing to 4. But I want to show you a really important principle, is that I can overload a value on a child node. So what that means, if I want the spheres to be closer together, I can change their spacing to a value of 2. And you can see that it's highlight right now. And as I move this, you'll see the spacing attribute down in here resolves back to 2 as well. And in this number 1 display mode, it tells me that this attribute is now owned by the sphere maker node. Again, we'll execute from selected. And we'll zip back over to Maya, and we can now see that the cube spacing is by 3s, and the sphere spacing is by 2s as well. Now, if I want to revert that, which is an important principle, I can come over here to the spacing and remove that attribute, and then it will go back to its original value that was not overloaded. So here we learned about how to make child nodes and a little bit about how attributes are inherited. Let's run it one more time. Cool.